Good evening, everyone. Happy cold evening. Let's go ahead and check in as folks are still joining. Please, let's all talk about the weather in this chat. Anybody wear gloves this week? Be honest.
I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, there's no shame.
What's the
I thought
temperature in
about it.
Florida?
Wimps.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
let's see. Right
It-
now, this
It's 45 degrees.
44.
Orlando.
Yeah,
Oh.
40.
You poor things.
It was 39, right? 39 today for me, where I'm at on
my
Beachside,
goodness.
Daytona. So I broke out the scarf today.
I don't know how y'all do it. I mean, how you survive in that weather.
How could you? It's impossible.
We are not built for this. Our houses, our buildings, we are not built for this. It is very cold.
I've been without heat for 3 days and here I am still surviving.
Oh.
I mean, the cold was fine. It was the rain, the cold rain this afternoon that was just killer.
And plus the winds. I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
My buddy that I talked to today in -11 Kent, Ohio, is really feeling sympathetic for y'all. So
Yeah.
It's so funny. I talked with my mom in Cleveland. She's like, it's -7. I said, oh, okay.
yeah, exactly.
Which
That
is
sums
why
that
I moved from the
conversation.
Midwest.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
that's
I
why I
can't
don't
handle
live
the
there.
gray. I need the sun.
Well, did anyone see snow? Like, anyone see any snow over the last few days? Anybody in northern Florida?
I'm in Jacksonville and we saw some
Mhm.
frozen
Some
frozen
flurries.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
I've seen it enough, Trenton. I'm not a fan. So
Yeah, like my son was like, I said, look, trust me. You saying you want this, but you don't want this. The gentleman that doesn't like to wear shorts. I said, no, you don't want this weather. He was born in Michigan though, so go figure. All right, so let's just jump in here. So on tonight, as you all see here, we'll have a few emails have been exchanged over the last couple of weeks, and so I just want to kind of address a few things. We'll have an intro. Of course, Dr. Harshon is just joining us as our special guest. He will introduce himself. Of course, he is kind of the architect of this course, so it's really happy to have him on here tonight. And we also have a few, I think, one additional new student. So we'll have intros part deux. We'll get into the web shell demonstration. Of course, we know web shell is due in this course February the 9th. That's the only thing, and so Dr. Harshon, just as a quick update, that's the only thing that you have to submit in Dreamweaver. Okay, so again, there's other things that you're going to be responsible for this course, and you can choose other platforms, but for Dreamweaver is what you need to leverage for the web shell.
you can also
that's
use
just
SeaMonkey. You could use SeaMonkey.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
It just has to be uploaded
yes.
to your server space, which I'll talk about tonight. So
That's right. And in fact, I think we've got a colleague who is on there. Shay, I think Shay kind of inquired. So yeah, I didn't mean good correction for that. So it's something, right, that they can upload to the Harshon server site, and we'll address that. Any questions, thoughts, concerns before we jump in? It's going to be again more of a demo class, and so if there's any questions, as we go throughout, of course, Dr. Harshon, Dr. LaGuardia, and myself will chime in and address those questions. So really quickly, just a few queries I received. So you don't have to purchase a domain for the site. If you choose to do Wix towards one of the assignments, I'm not even sure if there's a cost associated with that. I presume there might be. Right, but that's not necessarily a domain. It's just you're purchasing something through Wix. But again, for Dreamweaver and the other platform, again for Web Shell, something that you can upload to the server space, right? But again, there's no requirement in terms of buying a domain name. Is Dreamweaver required? Question?
I was just going to add something, but I'll add it after this question. So,
Did someone else have a question? I think I might have heard someone. Nope. Okay. Is Dreamweaver required? For the web shell assignment, yes, it is. But again, as we just said, there's other things, SeaMonkey Composer, and I know Shay, I think you highlighted something else that could be leveraged, and that's completely fine. Feedback. So there's a couple of mechanisms in which we can share and gather feedback, or rather should I receive feedback. So last time we engaged, I would say 95% of y'all identified yourself as intermediate. So again, we're not necessarily holding you to that in the sense of like, what our expectation wise, but I think as it relates to your peer interaction, your learner interaction, it might be good to, if you identify as a novice, or if you might identify as intermediate in one area, but maybe not in another area, or even just the expertise professionally that you all could have bring to this conversation. I think it would be helpful to say, maybe start with the help discussion. So if you pose a question out there that you want to have other people to get some feedback from, certainly feel free to reach out to them. If you want to have questions specifically as it relates to the assignments or something like that, help discussion is a great way to sort of start that conversation so everybody can see it. But of course, if you email myself, Dr. LaGuardia, or Dr. Harshon, we'll probably say, go ahead and copy and paste your question and our response to help discussion so everybody can see it. And so we're not sort of addressing, 25, 30 inquiries of the same thing. Of course, email is certainly apropos, but we actually ask you to email us through the web course portal as opposed to the individual UCF. Of course, if you email through UCF, we're going to reply, but the sort of overarching stance, I think, from the faculty and engaging with learners is going through the web course platform. Any thoughts, concerns on that? And Dr. Harshon, I think you had something you want to add?
Not really concerns, just on the feedback thing. I'm not going to answer any questions, so don't email me or web course message me. It's just not going to happen. And then for Dreamweaver, kind of if you're thinking about, do I want to get it? Do I not? If you're looking to go into business and industry and like be instructional designer or kind of expand your skill set there, then I would recommend getting Dreamweaver. And it's going to be there's going to be a learning curve for it in this course. But if you're like in the K-12 setting, there's probably not a real big reason for you to get Dreamweaver. But if you're going to expand outside of K-12, for those of you that are in K-12, really the skill set you need is going to be sort of Captivate and Articulate and those kind of things. And Dreamweaver is a great transitional tool for that, because you'll see a lot of the interfaces have similarities in the way you do things. Kind of are analogous to Dreamweaver, and also even PowerPoint, which we'll get into in the course. Y'all will get into in the course later. So just as you're thinking about that, if you really are thinking about business and industry, just suffer through it. Learning Dreamweaver, it's a bit of a pain, but it's going to benefit you in the long run.
And I think that's a good point, Rich, in terms of just an additional skill that you can include into your toolbox. And I would actually say that cuts across everybody. So, I mean, it'll be a learning curve, but if you can kind of get some of those basics, that's something that you can leverage and take to, again, your classroom context or the organizational context.
And Shay, video is fine. Yeah. If you want to go that route, that's, if you already have Dreamweaver skills and want to extend it by learning some other tools, that's a recommendation as well. So.
All right. So here we go.
Well, look at that guy.
Yeah, cool. No glasses. I like them without the glasses.
It's it's don't get old, people. I'm just what am I doing here? Am I introducing myself?
Yeah, it's a quick intro. Yeah.
All right. So I am the Associate Dean of Planning and Knowledge Management in the College of Community Innovation and Education. I'm also the interim chair for the Department of Learning Sciences and Educational Research, which is where this program, the Instructional Design Technology program, is housed. For up until about a year ago, I was the coordinator for that program and taught this course since about 2011. So I'm very familiar with it. Most of this, you'll hear my voice a lot in videos and things like that throughout, if you haven't already. No one really cares about my research interest, Trenton, so let's just move on from there.
Let's go to the golf course.
My picture. Oh, so this is actually my interests. It kind of highlights a lot. Number one, this is the second rated golf course in Canada, and I think this was about 10 o'clock at night when in Vancouver area. So it's really bright outside. And what was cool about this golf course is, well, it represents one of the things I love, golf. There may be like a golf ball or some golf stuff behind me in my desk, y'all can see. The second thing is I love travel. I travel all as much as possible. So this is obviously, or not obviously, but it's Canada, as I mentioned before. And then the third thing, it's really not a great golf course, but the reason it's a second rated golf course is you see bears and moose and other stuff on it while you're playing golf. So it's just a great golf experience. And I love outdoors and like animals and that sort of thing. So I thought it was a good representative picture of that sort of stuff. My experience in multimedia, I'm probably a novice in multimedia. So I'm just
He's being humble.
Just kind of winging it here. So actually, but yeah, I'll be covering the web authoring portions of the course. So I won't be grading. I won't be grading, which is good for you because I'm a harsh grader. So
the harshest I've ever met, actually.
Yeah. So where I started my undergraduate degree, I'm from Jacksonville, so I know there was somebody else. Is it Maya? Was that you from Someone was from Jacksonville. I can't remember who. Oh, NA.
Last name Collins.
Yeah. So I went to I grew up in Jacksonville.
NA stands for something.
What I know, I just saw. What is it? So I grew up in Jacksonville. Did my undergrad. Got my undergrad in physics at Jacksonville University. Then from there I ended up going back and getting my teacher certification and taught high school at, what's the next? I can't move it, Trenton.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, that's all good. At Ed White High School, for any of you Jacksonvillians that are familiar, that's where I taught. In doing that, I kind of went back. I went back to get my physics master's degree, and I sat in one class for a week and realized I didn't want to be like any of the people in that class, and withdrew from the program. But I'd kind of taken 2 ed tech courses alongside the physics courses. I was still teaching in Jacksonville and commuting back. This is before online learning. And I was like, I really like computers. So I stayed in the ed tech courses, best courses I've ever had in my life. One guy, Sebastian Fodi, I remember I would teach all day, drive to Gainesville, sit in his class. He would talk for 3 hours, and it sounds miserable, but I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time. It was just incredible. And I like learned so much from that guy. So I ended up going into the program, getting my master's in ed tech while still teaching, driving back and forth. And then one day I asked somebody reach out about an opportunity to get a PhD. And I asked my wife, her words were, do we have to move from Jacksonville? And I said, yeah, we would have to move to Gainesville. And we did. I earned my PhD from there. And from there, Trenton, moved to Charlotte, where I had my first position for 7 years at UNC Charlotte. Loved UNC Charlotte, not such a big fan of Charlotte, but loved UNC Charlotte. And in 2011, an opportunity opened up here. And the instructional design sort of community in Orlando area is just really robust, and the educational technology community here, just everything you can kind of imagine is going on here. So it was kind of an opportunity too difficult to pass up. My mother lived here at the time, and I still decided to come here, so if that tells you anything. So yeah, so I've been here since 2011, kind of doing my thing. Love it. Don't really see myself leaving UCF.
Right. Awesome. And there was a few other we actually had one student join the course. And so if they're here, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. Do we see this student on? Let's see if they're going to make it. If not, we are well on our way then. Okay. All right. So Rich, I'm gonna let you take it away from here.
Oh, it's me. All right. So let me pull up the course real quick. Can I share my screen, Trenton?
Yes,
Is
I'm
that
sorry.
agreeable?
Yep.
Let me see.
Yep. The multiple shares here.
Mhm.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
Cool. So give me a second to pull up. Can y'all see a blank screen right now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And now web courses.
Okay. So I wanted, before we kind of get into the demo tonight, I wanted to walk through the assignment, the web shell assignment. So in this assignment, you're literally creating a shell. You're not adding any content. I'm going to add content tonight in the demo, but you're not required to add any content, but you are required to meet some basics. So tonight is really setting the stage for what you're going to do throughout the course from a web development perspective. So we're going to do some basic stuff. You're going to insert some images, whatever image you want, doesn't have to be on a specific topic. We're going to make some links, some internal links, some external links. We're going to create a navigation menu and link all the pages together. And we're just going to get started with web development. How many of you in here have experience with web development? Can I get a hand raise or something? A lot of experience, minimal. Okay. So those of you that have experience are the way I'm going to introduce this tonight is not the way web authoring should be done. We're going to use tables. And for those to kind of set up our structure and all, for those of you that have experience, you're going to be like, what? Why would you do that? That's so 1992. And it is very 1992. But it's a great scaffolding tool for those that are brand new to web authoring to transition into cascading style sheets and divs and those sorts of things that we're going to deal with next week. So, so those of you just, earmuffs that have web experience while I'm going through it, and grin and bear it, and then we'll get into the real web authoring next week. But this is, like I said, just sort of a transitional sort of thing. So in this course, you're going to create a multimedia project. In the core, Trenton, have you talked about the multimedia project at all, or?
We have.
And how
but
everything
we
kind
didn't
of builds
necessarily walk.
to it, ideally?
Yeah, well, yeah, and we didn't actually go through the rubric itself, but we can do that now.
So
yeah.
Ultimately, you're going to create a multimedia project, and in this course, it's going to have at least 4 forms of media. So audio, video, graphics, text and/or hypertext. You could do interactive video. There's all kinds of media you can use. In this course, you're going to develop a series of individual forms of media, and the idea is that you package these all together in a multimedia project at the end of the course. So ideally, you pick a topic that is of interest to you, and you build each of your individual media assignments on that topic. And then at the end of the course, when you're compiling, you're putting together the final touches on your multimedia project, you're just packaging it all together, adding context, guidance, structure, all of that stuff, and you're not creating new media material. Does that make sense? So tonight, I'm going to just pick a random topic. But in the past, if you're in the classroom and you want to, create a multimedia project on some topic that you're teaching at the end in a while, that would be fine. If you just have a hobby and you want to do something on that, that's fine. Really up to you what topic you want to do. But what I would get into your mind is really think of one topic and kind of stick to it if you can. Are you required to? No. If you do your web shell and go, geez, I want to change my topic, that's fine. It's just going to require more work for you as you kind of progress through the course. Make sense? Okay. So tonight we're going to create a web shell on a fabulous topic that I came up with, how to fold a fitted sheet. So it'll be wonderful. I think some of the past videos, last time Was it
Two iterations ago was a hot dog or sandwich.
is a hot dog a sandwich? Those, I
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
still a debate in my house.
Is that a big, okay. I think last one was like who's better, human friends or robot friends? I can't remember. So
Robot,
anyway,
yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
the struggle with the fitted sheets is real lately, so I can't. That's what we're doing. So I like to learn something while I'm doing these. Okay, people. So anyway, so today the shell, it's going to be on that topic, but the content's going to be like lorem ipsum and like placeholder text, placeholder images, placeholder links. Actually, I'm going to include the links, but so it must be at least 3 web pages. Must contain internal links so that all the pages link to each other. So this is going to be a navigation menu. Must contain at least 2 external links. Must contain a non-web link. So I'm going to link to my CV, like a PDF file. Must contain an email link. Must contain at least 1 graphic on each page. It says no clip art. When I created this course, clip art was really, really bad. It's improved over time. So you can still use clip art now, but don't use cheesy, overused clip art. How many of y'all are teachers? Okay, if I see that little apple or the little schoolhouse thing, all of these gray hairs are because of that stuff being submitted to me. So make sure you don't use bad clip art. Appropriate use of alt labels and tags. We'll talk about that tonight. Appropriate page properties. We'll talk about that. Design issues, they'll be talked about in the course, but we'll highlight some of those: consistency, color, repetition, those kind of things. The consistent design scheme, make sure it addresses. Must use table or divs. So those of you that already have experience and want to use divs, cool, go for it. That's fine. Those of you that don't and are like, what are you talking about? What's a div? What's a table? That's cool. You can use tables. It'll make sense tonight. And then you'll transition into divs next week when we get to that. And then your course must be uploaded to your course web space and must include when it was last updated. And then you'll submit the URL, which we'll talk about for that. So how are we feeling? Everyone good? Any questions so far? All right, good, because I'm not answering them. It's my policy. Sorry. All right. So let me open Dreamweaver. Well, actually, so let me see. Bear with me one moment. Maybe 2 moments. Okay. Okay. So this is Dreamweaver, and there's a bunch of stuff here. This is the basic interface. We're going to go ahead real quickly, and up in the upper right-hand corner up here, you see. Let me just pull this over. It might be easier to do this way. Yeah, this will be a little easier. I'm probably not going to be looking at the camera, but that's fine. Okay, so this is Dreamweaver here, and if you look up here in the file, I'm just going to run through the menus here. So let me create just like a new blank page just to see what it does. Okay. So when you open that, you get a new document. I'm just going to create a new HTML document, which is a web page, and just click create, and you just get a blank page. We'll get into that in a minute. When I click on this, I get my file menu, and this is just my new open, save, copy, close, all of that stuff. The page properties is really important, and we'll get into that in a few minutes, but this is where you really define characteristics of your page. So you can set up your text colors, your link colors, so they're the same on every page or on throughout your page. You can also give your page a like headings. You can define the heading levels. You can give your page a title, which will be required. You'll see right now it's untitled document. And how many of y'all have ever been to a web page or website and up at the top you see untitled document or new page 1 or something like that? That just means they were lazy and didn't, or they just didn't know what they were doing and didn't give it a title or just forgot or something like that. So we're going to make sure we don't be lazy and we give it a title here. We'll get into that in a little bit. Then we get into your edit tabs. You have your paste, your select, all of these. Here you can edit, you can make a link, You can insert table and edit table characteristics here. You can edit your images here. The one thing that's great about Dreamweaver is it's part of the Creative Cloud suite, which is Adobe. So Photoshop, all the Creative Cloud works well with it. So you can actually edit images within it with Photoshop if you have the Creative Cloud suite, and they make all the changes on it. So it's a really nice little interface there. You can mess with the code, which we're not going to do. View, you can go to your code view, your split view, or your view mode, or your live design or toggle, which we'll talk about later. The rest of it you don't really need to worry about. Insert, this is how we insert content. So if we want to insert a div, an image, a paragraph, heading, table, figure, hyperlink, we'll do that tonight. Some other things, there's probably an email link in here somewhere, email link here. We'll play around with a number of these tonight. You'll see a lot of terms you probably don't recognize. That's good because, you know, if you knew everything, you wouldn't be here. So we'll talk about Bootstrap and some things later as we progress through the course. Tools, you're really not, maybe spell check, but I really don't use the tools very much. The find, you know, very rarely do I use it. Sometimes I'll use it in the code view. We'll get into that a little bit more. Site is going to be really important initially, and then once we set up our site, hopefully we won't have to mess with it again. And then window, you can add and change the windows here. One of the things that you will always want to have up, or I always like to have up, is the properties window and then the files window. Those are the ones that are really important to have up. And you'll see right now, here's our files window and here's our properties window. And our properties window tells us everything we need to know about what is selected. So there's no content on here right now, but if we had some content and we selected it, if it was a table cell, it would give us the attributes of the cell. If it was a text, it would give us the attributes of the text, and we can modify those properties using this properties tab. Next week, for those of you that want a sneak peek, we'll get into the CSS designer and CSS libraries. And those are, CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Sounds really fancy, doesn't it? What it is, how many of y'all have ever created a Word document before? Okay, a couple of you, perfect. So y'all are familiar with Word, awesome. So in Word, have you ever used styles? So like if you have heading 1 and paragraph text and heading 2 and all that. Well, in Word, you can set those up so that they're the same throughout. All of your heading 1s are the same. So if you wanted to go in and change heading 1, it changed, and you had a 100-page document, you know, it would change all of your heading 1s throughout that 100-page document. That's kind of the same thing with cascading style sheets. So on a website, if we want to change our link colors or what our heading looks like, our heading banner, or the background color, or the font style, if we want to change it, we can go into our cascading style into our style sheets and make those changes, and it'll change it across the entire site. For a 3-page site like we're doing tonight, no big deal. I can do that in a matter of minutes. But when I'm managing a large site with hundreds of pages or something like that, you can see how that would be pretty beneficial. At least I hope you can. So then we'll get into that kind of next week. But for tonight, we're going to work with very, very basics, the very basic kind of structure. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our website. And what this does is allows me to communicate with the server space that I've set up for each of you and my own server space. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it EME6507-web. Okay. Now, this is going to be my local site folder. This may not make a lot of sense now, but everything I do now is kind of going to go towards the URL or the web address that I'm creating. It'll make sense later, I promise, except for this. So every file and folder I set up is going to be an additional slash and folder 1 slash folder 2. Does that make sense? In there, except for whatever I set as my local site folder. So this is going to be invisible in the URL. Okay. So they'll make more sense in a minute. So let's set up our site first. And this right here is where we're going to put all of our sites. So if I were to, so right now we're going to put one site in it tonight called Fitted Sheet, but each website I create is going to be a new folder. So you're going to do an e-portfolio. You may choose to do it in Dreamweaver. You're going to create a folder called e-portfolio, and then that's going to be a separate website from the fitted sheet website. Make sense? Maybe. We'll look at it in a little bit. It'll make a little bit of sense. Hopefully. Hopefully it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to site, and we're going to go to new site. And this, so we're just going to walk through this real quickly. New site, unnamed site. We're going to just call it EME6507. And then we're defining our local site folder. We hopefully only have to do this one time unless we need to tweak something later. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and the local site folder is EME6507 web. And I'm just going to choose that as my local site folder. Then I'm going to go to my server. And so now essentially what I'm doing is a server is just a computer in Topeka, Kansas somewhere that is connected to, I'm making this connection to, and everything I do here, I can ultimately upload to that server space, and it's visible on the web. I could set up my own computer as a server, but then I don't want to manage security and that sort of thing. So all we're doing is setting up a connection to somebody else's computer where I've set you up a folder on that computer. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm going to add a space. Notice here it says minus, so I'm going to delete a server. If I need to change the username or password or something, I'm going to edit the existing server, but we're just going to add one. And I'm going to call it EME6507 here. It's going to be connected using FTP. The FTP address is rhartshorn.com. The username is whatever I've set up for you. So for me, I set up RH2025. And then you have to add the @rhartshorn.com part. And trust me, if I had known that everything was going to be at rhartshorn.com, I would have changed the site name to something a little simpler, but you live and you learn. And then the password is, I'm not going to tell you, but and then I'm going to test my password. And I probably RH2025 at rhartshorn.com. Let's try this again. Seriously. Okay, we're going to come back to that. I don't know why it's not working, but the root directory, we're going to put nothing there, even though your feedback, it says your root URL is X. And then web URL, we're not going to modify anything there. And then we're just going to click save and save. And now what's going to happen is when this works, when we're going to make our changes, we're going to click on this little thing here, the little plug. And when I roll over it, notice it says connect to remote server. We're going to click on this, and then we're going to click whatever we've modified and click the up arrow. Yeah, I know I can't make that. We're going to click the up arrow and it'll upload it. If I were working on a different computer and I made changes and I get to my home computer and I wanted to download it, I would click the down arrow and it's going to pull those files from the remote server to me. If this is new to everybody, which I expect it's new to a lot of you, it will make sense, trust me, as we get into this. Also very important up here is what you are working on at the time. So right now we're looking at the local view. So there's nothing in that folder. If I click here, the remote server, it's not going to make the connection, but there's going to be nothing in the remote server either. And then the testing server, we're not even going to worry about. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our fitted sheet. So we're going to drag that folder into there. So now in my website folder, which it'll populate in a minute. So let me see if I just click on that. It'll come up in a minute. But inside this folder, I now have a site called Fitted Sheet. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and collected a few items here. So I've collected a couple images. I've collected my CV. I'm not going to put this storyboard item. I'm going to drag this out because I don't want that on the website. But I want to know where I'm going, so I've kind of storyboarded this website out. Since I have these, I'm going to organize these a little bit. And again, it doesn't matter that I have. And I'm just going to hold on a second. Okay. It doesn't matter that I have only 3 images because I want you to be thinking bigger. But because I only have 3 images, I want to put all of those in like an images folder. 3 images, no big deal. I can go on in this small site and see it. But if I have 1,000 images and I'm trying to find them, it makes it a lot easier if I have other resource files and that sort of thing to go, okay, where are my images? Oh, they're in the images folder. And then for I might put another thing here, new folder. I'm going to call it resources. Make sure it's in my fitted sheet folder. And then I'm going to put my CV in there. So like that might be my media or something along those lines. So, so we've organized everything nicely here. When I get here. There we go. So now I see that my fitted sheet is there with my images and my resources. Make sense? So all this is doing is linking, it's just showing me what's in this EME6507 folder. So right now, if I just do this, I'm going to create an ePortfolio folder outside at the same level of the fitted sheet folder. Why did I do that? I knew I was going to have trouble saying it. So now when I go here in a minute, it'll update and there'll be an ePortfolio folder there. So all this is, so all this is just each of what represents what's here. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this over. So now I want to kind of create my website. So what I've done here is I've kind of set up a picture. So I have a banner image here, or a banner folding a fitted sheet home. I have some text, or I have an image up here. I have some lorem ipsum text. I have a check out this site. So this is going to be my link, my hyperlink requirement. I'm going to go ahead and embed a video because that'll also count as a link. I'm going to put created by a little footer here with my name and a link to my CV, which is my internal non-web link. All of these are going to be linked together. So those are my each internal links all linked together. Does that make sense? A navigation menu. And then this is going to be called index.html, and the page title is going to be folding a fitted sheet. Again, this content is optional other than there has to be a link. And so you can link to Google for all I care. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to make this contact my email address. So somebody wanted to, so that'll be the email address requirement. Once I get this done, I'm going to go to page 2 for the patient. So folding a fitted sheet for patient people. And oh, actually, I'm not going to put these here. I'm going to delete these. These are going to go on page 2. These are going to go on page 2. So like some intro text and then the resources there. This is going to be patient and folding a fitted sheet. And then for normal people, there's just going to be this image. And obviously, normal people can't fold a fitted sheet. So that'll be the final page. So we're going to just jump in now, and I see some items in the chat. Is there anything, Trenton, is there anything important? Do I need to answer anything in the chat, or is there anything in the chat? Did I just miss it or not miss it?
Nothing in the chat. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to get going. So if you look at this, this is a 2-cell table here. Or I'm sorry, a 1-row, 2-column table, then a 1-row. Why can't I talk tonight? Probably shouldn't have drank all that cough syrup beforehand. So a 1-row, 4-column table, and then a 1-cell, and then, or I could do a 2-row, 1-column table here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that set up, and I'll kind of pull back over so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But I want to start. I just want to insert, maybe hit an enter here to give a little space here. I'm going to insert a table. So do we see anything here that might be good for inserting a table anywhere? Anything on there? If you said the insert tab
button.
here, yeah, you could do the insert tab here. Or if you look over here and you have this insert, and you have all of this lovely stuff here that you can insert. So I'm going to insert a table. So I'm just going to double click on it and drag it over. And then it says, so I want to do a 1 row, 2 column table. Then it says, what width do you want? Do you want it to be a certain number of pixels or a certain percentage? I want it to be a certain percentage. I'm going to make it 80%. And what that means is whatever browser window the user opens it in, it's going to take up 80% of that browser window. You can make it 90, whatever you want to do. We're not going to get into this tonight, but later on, we'll show you how to, when you make a website, how we can create dynamic websites. So if someone opens it on a tablet versus a phone versus a laptop versus the monitor, my massive monitor at home, it's going to modify the layout of the page for that particular item. And then for border thickness, I don't want the border to show for design elements. So I'm just going to put 0, and then I'm going to click OK. Okay, perfect. I'm going to drag this over a little bit. Now at the end of this, if I hit enter, notice that it does sort of a double space. If I hold shift enter, if I hold shift, okay, of course it doesn't do it. If I hold shift enter, it does a single space. We're going to get rid of that space there in a minute. So I'm just going to, one of the great things about Dreamweaver is there's multiple ways of doing everything. So I'm going to use the insert drop down menu, insert table. This is going to be 1 row, 4 columns, 80% as well, because we want them to line up, right? Click OK, and we're good to go. I'm just going to go here, delete that space. I can highlight both. So notice how if I select this cell here in the properties window, it's giving me the cell characteristics. So the horizontal default is selected. The vertical default, for horizontal default, it's left justified. For vertical, it's centered. I can change the background color of the cell. I can change the width and height of the cell as well. So this right here, I could go 25% for the width because there are 4 of them. So I want each of them to be equal in size. So I can make them all 25% by just going 25%. Make sure you're in that quarter. Make sure you're in that particular. Good. Gotta delete it. There. Okay. 25%. And lastly, so that keeps those static at those percentages and equal in size. I could highlight all of them real quick. Highlight both. Well, let me start with this. If I highlight that, notice the black handlebar kind of squares. That means that entire table is selected, and you'll see here. What I want to do is I want to align it in the center of the page to give sort of a balanced appearance. So if I click on this one, I want to align it in the center. But notice here, you have your row 1, 2. So if I wanted to go in and add a column, I could just real simply do this. Okay, now I have a 3-column table there up top. Obviously, I don't want that, so I could just go back and change it to 2 columns. But the properties window is a great tool for kind of finding out what's wrong. The issue is make sure you have what you want to know about selected, or it's not going to really be useful for you. So lastly, I'm going to insert a table. And it's just going to be 2 rows, 1 column, 80%. Boom. I'm going to center it. And I'm going to delete this little space here. Now I'm going to start making it look like my actual page. So I'm going to give it a little bit of background color. So here I'm going to highlight these 2 tables. I'm going to highlight this table. I'm going to give it a click on the background here in the properties window and kind of play around with this. Give it something maybe like, does that look good? Looks terrible, but baby blue it works for me. So here, notice what's cool is, now I have to make it exactly the same. Well, they have this eyedropper here, so I click on the eyedropper, go there, and hit enter, and it makes it the same color. And we're good to go. Back in the day, I used to have to hex code that, hand code that, and after walking 3 miles in the uphill in the snow to code this stuff. So you guys got it easy. All right, so now we're going to start adding the content. So this one is home. This one is for the patient. This is for normal people. And this is contact. Down below, I'm just going to go created by Richard Hartshorn and CV. And I'm just going to do Shift Enter here. And I'm going to say last updated January 23rd, 2025. I'm just going to go real quickly, just select this. The horizontal default is left, so I'm going to center it. And the vertical default is center, I think. But because I can just go middle. There we go. I don't like the font per se, but I don't want to mess with that here. So I'm going to look at that in the page properties. So I'm going to go to my page properties. Where did it pop up? There we go. And I'm just going to set my default font as, let's just do Cambria. The default font color, just to stylize it a little bit, I'm going to do like a deep charcoal kind of color. Okay. The background color of the page, we're going to make it just a little, maybe a little bit gray, like a real light gray. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but no big deal. I just want to show you that you can do that. The size is going to vary based on what type of content it is. Here we could go to visited links. The visited links default color is red. So I'm not going to change that, but I might want to change my link colors to maybe a deeper blue. So it's going to be a deeper blue there. And that's going to be across this whole page. And then for links, if I use CSS, I'm not going to do it now, but we'll just go ahead and put that there for now. Rollover links. So if you wanted users to, when they roll over your text, you can make it change to like let's see what happens with this. We'll make it change to like a green color. That took me about 4 weeks to learn how to do when I was in school, you young whippersnappers. So, yep. And then we're going to go to title and encoding. So for this, it's going to be folding a fitted sheet home. And we're just going to click OK. And now we're kind of all set. So I like that. I'm okay with the colors there. I might hit here. I'm going to go folding a fitted sheet home. I don't like the size of that, so I'm going to play around here. I'm going to go to click on the CSS. We can change the size of it to, let's see. Okay, that's big enough. We'll center it. We'll see. Maybe I'll change the color of this one. New and see if I can change this particular one, just red, just for the heck of it. Okay. Yeah. So we changed that to make it pop out a little bit more. I'm going to go, I want to put a picture of me here, just to let everybody know who made the page. So I'm going to, real quickly, I'm just going to save it, save as, just save early, save often, index.html, and make sure it's in my fitted sheet folder. And I'm going to click save. So now if I go back to my files tab here, you have index.html there. So we're all set. I don't like this gray here, so I'm going to real quickly select this cell and I'm just going to give it a white background, which is FFFF, and we're good. So now it's white. And then the gray is just kind of the overarching background color. I'm going to go and insert my image. So a couple of really cool things here. Where's my properties window? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to put my cursor there. I'm going to go to insert image. And once we get this first page done, the other ones will fly, I promise. So I'm going to insert image and just kind of drag it over. And then it asks me what image I want to include. So I go to my images folder. I'm going to select hartshorn.jpg. Perfect. And it's really, really big, obviously. So I want to make it a little smaller. Okay. And then we'll just drag up. Okay. So here there's a little white space there that I would need to crop off, but I'm not going to do it right now, just for time's sake. But I would kind of crop that off and make it fit a little bit better. Now I'm going to make my links. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center all of those. Home is going to go to index.html. So in this, if I look at my properties window and I go to HTML, I see link. I can just go index.html, but I have to be sure I name it exactly where it is and what it's going to. So these other pages don't exist yet, but I know what I'm going to call them. So this is going to be called patient. So I'm just going to type in patient.html. And then this one is going to be called normal, but let me do it a different way. I'm going to go file, save as here, or just save this. Then I'm going to go file, save as, and I'm just going to call it normal. So I'm going to close it. So I'm going to go back to my index one. Okay, so I'm on index. So I want to make a link to normal. So I'm going to highlight this. In my link tab, I have this folder icon there. I click on that and go to normal, and it makes that link. So you'll see it just says normal.html. And this is very important to understand. This is the path that it needs to go to get to this page. So home and normal are at the same level. So to get from here, the home page, to the normal page, I'm just saying, hey man, go to normal.html. Does that make sense? But if I'm going to if I look at the picture of me here, what I see here is it says, go in from home to get to that image. I need to go into my images folder. This is the source. Into my images folder and find hartshorn.jpg. So if I go over here, if I go into images, I have hartshorn.jpg. So to get from here to here, I'm telling it, go in images and then go to hartshorn. It's just like me, if I needed you to go get me a page out of a file folder, I would say, okay, go to the second drawer, go to the file that says X and find the page called blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you exactly where to go from where you are right now. So just kind of a quick thing for now. Also, real quickly, the alt labels and tabs. So if I select this right here, if you go, why is it not selecting? Okay, here we go. If I go to the properties alt label, I'm going to say Dr. Hartshorn image or pic. Okay. And you can modify the size here as well, but that's your alt label or tag, which is one of the requirements. So all images, that's for screen readers. So it's an accessibility issue feature. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to link to my CV. So I'm going to highlight this. Another way to do links is you see this nice little target thing. It says point to file. So I can just click and drag and see how it makes this nice little arrow. I can go to resources, click on hartshorn.jpg, and it populates resources /hartshorn.cv.pdf. So there's 3 different ways to do links. You can type in it if you know the direct path. You can do the target, the folder, or you can point to it. We're almost at the bulk of it here. Trenton, how long do we have tonight? I guess, am I going over? I got
No,
about,
no,
probably about
we actually
15
we're
minutes.
we're actually slated for to 8:30. So
Okay,
yeah,
probably about
we have
15
plenty.
minutes. So,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna, so there's gonna be a folded sheet image on this one, and then I'm just going to copy this lorem ipsum there. So, I simply go here. I'm going to go to insert image. Let's do it here. Insert image. It asked me what, darn it. It asked me what image, go to images, fitted sheet hero, boom. I'm gonna make that a little smaller. Yeah, a lot smaller. Fitted sheet graphic. And good to go. I might center this horizontal. Well, that's just for the, let's see. Let me delete some of the space here. There we go. And we would, let's actually see. Try to center this. I don't want to center the whole cell. I just want to center the image. So I'm selecting the image. And we'll come back to that later. And then I'm just going to paste the lorem ipsum there. Again, I can modify colors. I can put links in. This is just for space holder font for y'all. But I do want to center this. But the problem is if I center, let's see. See, we don't want to center text. So let me go here. Let me go back to horizontal default. For this, I can go to CSS and center that. We'll come back to that. But I don't want to center both, but I don't want the image left justified. So come back to that one. Left. Okay. Oops.
Dr. Hartshorn, do you need another table or will that work?
You could do another table that would work, but you can give individual attributes within the table cell. You could give them individual attributes. So that image could be centered and the text could be left justified. Why is it not now left justifying it? Now what's going on here? Well, the image looks great. Just don't center blocks of text. I'll come back to that. I'll figure it out. File, save. So now we've kind of got the bulk of this stuff done. I do want to highlight a couple of real quick things. I have a code view up here. So if I wanted to see what the HTML code looks like, that's what it looks like. Terrible. But some of y'all, I think Shay can probably code from scratch from what he said. But this is the code. What this is good for, and you're going to get, there's some tutorials in the course that kind of highlight some code. You just need enough to be able to troubleshoot. So for example, if these cells weren't 25 all equal size, how would you modify that? Well, I could go into the code and I could find, oh, here's those table cells. And they're all 25%. So I'm good. Well, oh, one, sometime I hit 28% or 35% on one of them, something like that. You can do that other ways. That's a simplistic version, but you can modify stuff here. And also when you get into the CSS, knowing that. But what's more useful is the split view, because now I can highlight stuff and it highlights it in the code. So if I wanted to make a modification, I could do it within the code. So here, for example, I might be able, let's see if this works. I don't think it will, but I might be able to. So I could go to align equals left. Yeah, equals left. And then let's see if that did it. Nope, didn't do it. But there's like, you can go in and play with the code and fix little things like that, pretty easily, in the split view. I prefer the design view because I can kind of see everything there. So now that we're basically done, on this page, what I want to do real quickly is I just want to save it. And you'll notice here, this asterisk, that just means that you made changes and they haven't been saved yet. So I'm going to save it. So now I'm just going to go File, Save As. So now that I have everything basically looking like I want it to, I'm just going to go to, I'm just going to create the same page, or create the new name, patient, and then normal. Oh, wait, I didn't do one thing. So let me cancel this real quick. I'm going to go here and insert an email link. So I can do that by going to HTML and email link, or over here, I have email link right here. So I can just click on that, drag it in, and do it that way. The best way to do for email, for links, is just go insert HTML email link. It'll already say contact what I have highlighted, and then it has my email address. Perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead and File, Save Patient, File, Save As Normal, and we're good to go. Replace it. Yep. For home, I'm going to go to home real quick. I'm going to highlight home. I'm going to remove the link because I don't need a link to itself. So I'm going to go to HTML here. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to make the font a different color. So I'm going to go back to CSS. I'm going to make it kind of maybe a red-ish. Maybe make I can make it bold or something like that if I wanted, but I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, no, we'll leave it. We'll leave it normal. Oh, we'll make it bold. Okay. So let's see what we got. No, I did not delete it. And yeah, so removed it there. We'll go to the CSS tab. We'll change the color to like a red, and we'll make it bold. Perfect. Okay. So now it kind of stands out. Yeah.
Rich, I don't want to get you out of your flow, but I just want to do a quick confirmation code. But before I do that, I think Aviva had a good suggestion potential of the why the centering. So Aviva, you want to quickly go off mute and articulate?
Yeah, sure.
What did I do?
I can't tell just from looking at it, but if that's a soft return in between the text and the image, it could be treating it as just one paragraph, in which case I think you wouldn't be able to give it different formatting. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it doesn't treat it that way.
It doesn't. Okay. It does that in InDesign, so.
Let's see if it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I was on HTML, so I went to the CSS. Yeah, that works. Good.
And so that's going to be the confirmation code. Soft return. Soft return. No, really, that's the confirmation code.
Okay.
Soft return.
No.
All right, soft return.
Undo,
Cool.
edit, undo. Okay, we'll go with that. Probably could go here and do a couple deletes. Yeah, so, all right, perfect. So now I'm just going to go ahead and save this. So now I'm just going to go, now I'm just adding my content in. So for patient, for the patient page, I'm just going to delete so I had some lorem ipsum text. If I go here, and then I'll check out this site and then a YouTube video. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, then we'll go here, check out Better Homes and Gardens. And so I have the link here, and it's just this page here. So I'm just going to go fold fitted sheet, copy it, good to go, and just highlight this. And I can just go down to my properties window. I don't even really need to insert link or insert hyperlink here. I could just go there, hit there, and I'm good to go. Now, the one thing you want to do here is all those navigation links are internal. So we want them opening in the same windows, but for this is going to go to a new page. So we want it to open in a new tab. or a new window. Does that make sense? Because if you click on it and it opens in the same window and they go, oh, that's not what I want, they close it, it closes down the whole site. So what you want to do is change the target to underscore blank, and that'll have it open in a new tab. Okay. So we're good there. And then the next thing I had was a video. Watch how to fold a fitted sheet below. So now what I want to do is I have this YouTube video. And I'm going to simply, instead of linking to it, I want them to be able to view it in the page. So if you look here, you have this share option. So if I click on share, I can share it via email, I can share it via Twitter or X, Facebook, WhatsApp, but I have this, or I could just copy the link, but I have this embed option. And what this embed does is it gives me an iframe. I can modify the size of this, so I'm just gonna copy it though. But a couple cool things here, you can change the size of it, but also I could start it at a particular point. So if the first 30 seconds was terrible or something, and this really isn't for this, but like maybe you're using a YouTube video for your multimedia project, and you only want them to watch from 3 minutes to 6 minutes. You can constrain where they watch it in the code by saying start at 3 minutes, end at 6 minutes. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but just a cool little feature there. So I'm going to copy this. Now, if I paste this code in the page, that doesn't really work very well. So what I want to do is put my cursor there. I want to go to my split view, find my cursor, which is right here, and then just paste. And then I kind of go back here. Maybe I highlight that, maybe bold, make it stand out a little bit. And now I'm going to go back to my design view. That's not a bad size, so we'll leave it at that size. Maybe hit a return here, and let's see if I can. So maybe leave this one left justified, maybe center this one. Let's see if we can. Yeah. There's a way to do there's a way to do that. I think you just got to play around with the hard returns and soft returns. But for time's sake, I'm not going to worry about it right now. But right now you can't see this. But if you go to live view, let's see if it'll play. It'll show you that you can't play it yet, but that's fine. It still work. It'll work when it goes online, so you'll be good. So we're going to save that, and then the last page is. Oh, and then real quickly, we're going to call this darn it. I'm going to close index so I don't start messing around with that. I'm going to call this one for the patient. I'm going to go to my page properties. Go to my title and call it for the patient. Okay. And we're going to, and then I'm going to remove this link. And I can't remember what color it was exactly, so I'm just going to try and get something close to it. Since I closed the page already. And then I'm just going to save this. And then I'm just going to close this one out. Do the same thing. Normal people, I'm going to remove the link, make it red-ish, whatever it was. Remove the link. Okay. Oops, didn't make it red. That's perfect. There we go. Call this for normal people. Darn it, why is it like? Okay, here we go. For normal people. And then I think I had that same image there. Oh, no, I didn't. I had a different image. So I'm going to go highlight this. Say you can't make it big. Change the color of it to, I don't know, green. Make it bigger. Okay, perfect. And then there's an image insert. Image. And just go to your images, keep, and give it a heap. Folded sheet heap. Okay. And save. So we're done. We've created our website and we are good to go. So now what we need to do is I'm wondering if the server was down earlier because let's see.
Is there Dr. Hartshorn, while you're doing that, is there a limit of how many words you should put in a text to describe the image for accessibility?
I mean, you don't want to do like a paragraph or anything, but just something brief to kind of highlight what it is. There's not really a limit, but you just want to keep it short and sweet. So.
I will say that typically in the assignments, I don't obviously expect a paragraph, but again, thinking about accessibility, I do want enough description. So if someone is obviously challenged with the site, that they know exactly what the image is. So I think a sentence or two is actually perfect.
So if you bear with, give me 1 second to try and figure out what's going on with my. Give me 2 seconds now. Now we'll be done by 7:45, I promise. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to my site and manage sites. So I just re-entered my password into the server. So this should work. So all this stuff's the same. It's still the EME6507 is my shell. Servers. So I'm going to edit this. So I select it, edit it. Oh, I deleted it. Great. Well, that's fine. So I'm just going to call it EME6507. Start over. It's going to be FTP. It's rhartshorn.com. The username is rh2025 at rhartshorn.com. And the password is and test. So there's something going on with the server right now because I just set it up and there's no reason it shouldn't be working. I don't even know why what it's doing now. Well, they've all been saved, so let me try this. All right, let's see if this works. This is important because I want to show you what the URL would be for this tool or this site. So just to show you before, I know it's not up yet, but when it comes up, I'm going to show you. Here we go. Let's see if we can get the site to work now. Site, new site, EME6507. That's fine. The local site folder is the site name doesn't matter. It's just for you. And then we'll go to servers, add a server. Same thing with the server name. It doesn't matter. It's just for you to recognize what it is if you're managing a lot of servers. rhartshorn.com, port 21, pump it out, RH2025 at rhartshorn.com. Move this over here. Okay. And test. All right. I don't know what, there's something going on with the server because it's working down here, but it's not really giving me any information. So doesn't matter. I don't know.
I was able to, not in Dreamweaver, but I was able to use it by doing FTP dot our hartshorn rather than just or adding FTP dot to the front.
To the server?
Yeah.
Like, to here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's something going on. Because it shouldn't have to do that with the server that we have. So, all right. So, well, so what I do want to highlight one thing real quick, and then it should work. It's not going to work now, or it's not working now. But the one thing I want to show you is, okay. So each of you have a space that is set up for you. Your space will always be rhartshorn.com /spring-2025 / your username without the rhartshorn at rhartshorn park. So, and then from here, each folds to access a site, you would just add, or access anything, you would just add the path. So here I would add fitted-sheet to this, fitted-sheet / and then if I wanted to get to index.html, I wouldn't have to do index, that's a default. But if I wanted to get to normal.html, I would just type in normal.html and it would come up. Obviously right now it's not there, so it's not coming up as showing. But let me do something real quick here. So this right here is your server space that everyone has set up. So give me a second. So domains, don't worry about this if it's freaking you out. So every folder, every semester I have stuff set up for based on this. So I'm just going to pick summer 2024. Did I do anything then? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, we had it for 2024.
I'm just trying to find my username.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so Doc Rich Hart. Okay. So, and let's just go in there. So right now, to access this site, it's going to be rhartshorn.com/summer-2024/Doc what did I say it was? Doc Rich Hart. / and then I can go into, let's see what's in there. Web shell / index.html or media.html or whatever. So I'm just going to do index.html. And so, yeah, so I get this site here. So do y'all see the path that I'm giving? I'm not sure why my username and password isn't working tonight, but to set up the site. But all this stuff, so in my file tab over here in summer 2024, I had a folder called Web Shell. So Web Shell would have been there, multimedia would have been there, and ePortfolio. So if I want to go look at multimedia, then I just go to multimedia. And I think index.html is the same thing. So this, I was just demonstrating a tutorial. I didn't actually do the site, but this right here is the site for this right here, for this page right here. If I wanted to look at my ePortfolio, it's ePortfolio, and I go to index.html or projects. So I would just go to ePortfolio, index, and projects there. So I have the same, just kind of embedded content and stuff like that. So so y'all get the gist, see how it's a path. So every single one of your URLs is always going to start with it's always going to start with that. And then from there, it's going to change based on how you define what you name your folders. Now, in the course, there's a lovely video talking about naming conventions. So you want to keep things lowercase. You don't want to do spaces. You want to keep it short and sweet. You want to be consistent. So don't use hyphens for spaces for one file name and then underscores for another. So you want to be kind of consistent with that. And with that, I will shut up. I think Trenton and Eric will link to some other some walkthroughs from previous semesters that if you want to just kind of go to the end and see where or maybe watch the startup of the setup of the site, and then at the end where we pull it up online so you can actually see it, that might be useful. But I'm also, if you go to Dreamweaver and test yours out and it doesn't work, email me directly and I can fix it, test it, see what the issue is, and we can go from there. I don't know why it's never not worked for me. So, I mean, it has been down, but usually when it's down very briefly. So, right, Trent?
Just to be clear, because I'm getting a couple of messages here, the steps that Dr. H just went through, if we were able to successfully load to the server, let's just say we were able to successfully load to that server, the error code would not be there, right? So
Right,
so
you
just
wouldn't see the
to reiterate that, because folks are saying that, so again, because there's no content, you're gonna always see that error code.
Yeah, so if you're trying to pull it up, you're probably seeing like a 403 error code.
Right.
That just means you haven't uploaded any content yet.
Right.
You
Just
haven't
to
set up
make sure
your
folks are
site. You
clear.
haven't set up your site necessarily. There's no
Right.
content on that server space yet.
Yeah, perfect. So E, I'll let you take it away, brother.
Yeah, sounds good. So sorry for the vertigo going through so many slides just now. As you can probably tell, I'm losing my voice a little bit because I'm under the weather. But Dr. Hartshorn, thank you so much for your explanation. As far as next steps and reminders, Please continue to play with Dreamweaver if you, or start to play with Dreamweaver if you haven't. There is a 7-day free trial that's available online. After that, subscriptions will be necessary. We kind of went over what that pricing kind of looks like, but it's in the low 20s, like sub $30 on a monthly basis. And then also UCF on campus, you also have free access to Dreamweaver if you're local. You can do that. Remember to test your server space. Barring any issues with the server, like Dr. Hartshorn was just experiencing, you should be able to see things once they're uploaded, once it's populated. Until then, you're going to get that error. So either a server issue or just not having content will produce an error. Please make sure that you cite and give credit to any protected material. If you use AI, just indicate that. There's not necessarily a prescribed way to do it that we're asking. Just make it clear. Just want to be honest about what it is that you're putting out there. We're not discouraging the use of AI by any stretch. Please use it. Just let us know when you are. So our next Zoom session is a week from today. So they are kind of clustered back to back. I imagine Dr. Hartshorn will be with us again to answer questions. So please, now that you have a little bit more, now that your feet are wet with Dreamweaver, you might end up having a lot more questions next week than you did today. So just come prepared to have those answered. And then just remember that the web shell is due on the 9th of February. And then Margaret, we received your photo for your introduction. So the next slide, we actually have queued up for you. So if you don't mind, I think you're still with us. If you can introduce yourself and answer those questions. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I unfortunately missed the first class, but I'm really happy that I was given the opportunity to introduce myself today. Again, my name is Margaret. I am originally from Venezuela, so I speak Spanish. This picture represents me in a nutshell. This is actually my current office at the UCF Rosen College. You may spot the UCF logo here and there sometimes, and some of the brand colors from the little thumbnails that are on the right wall as well. I do instructional design, but I'm mainly a project manager. So I have a couple of students under me, which are, you can spot them in the picture. But at heart, I'm mainly a graphic designer. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable watching all the stuff that we review today, but I'm very excited to get into maybe the coding window and kind of play around with that too. And I had no previous experience with Dreamweaver, so I'm very excited to play around with it. And it is nice that it's very familiar to, because it's an Adobe product. I do feel a little comfortable with all the ways that the windows are set up and the buttons. So I'm very excited to get to play around more with that. I would say graphic design wise, I am a little over intermediate. But I'm looking forward to kind of challenge myself with assignments and play around with things that I don't necessarily know already. So I think I already answered all the questions. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Are you at the Rosen campus or?
Yes.
We're hosting we're co-hosting a conference there in March over spring break, the Society of Information Technology and Teacher Education Conference, site conference. It'll be on their campus, all the presentations and stuff like that, lunches and stuff. So
I didn't know that. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
I think Arian Raymond, do you know Arian? She helped do some of the organization with them. So
yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. I'll ask her for more details too to make sure that I get to the event. Thank you so much.
Perfect. I think that's it, right? One more. Actually, do I have anything else? No, I think that's it. Keep going, D. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries. So all we have left is our typical one-word checkout. So give a second to think about sort of one word that encapsulates how you're feeling in light of the Dreamweaver intro, or just the course overall, or just personally tonight, how you're feeling. just throw that in the chat, and then at your leisure, you can consider yourself dismissed. And we'll sit back to answer any questions if you have any additional ones.
And just remember your cameras are on. I didn't appreciate the eye rolls when Dr. LaGuardia said I would be doing the next session, so I have feelings, okay? So just not cool, that's all I'm saying. And I'll look into the server issue trend. I'm not sure what's going on, so.
Sure.
I mean, it would probably be my luck they're doing an update or something like that.
I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the passcode. So I'm going out the chat. I think it was address my. Did you get that? I'm gonna go ahead and just do it. I'm just
Yes,
telling.
I got it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought I
No,
was
you good.
supposed to be looking for like a fun word like last time. So that's why it must have like
Oh,
went
it's-
right above my head when you guys said it.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Sorry.
You good.
Thank you.
No, you're fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. That's the confirmation code for today, right? For the attendance?
Yep.
Yeah, I missed that completely. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm gonna whoever's asking, I'm gonna take. I'll email you. Just email me. Just so we can remove it out of the chat, because we share that with folks who's watching. Although I think like all of you are on. It's like 27 people. But I would just articulate it: soft return. Soft return. Shout out
So,
Ava.
Dr. Marsh, should we be thinking about when we do the design here, just making sure we hit the highlights of what's expected, or should we be thinking forward to incorporate this into our final multimedia project?
So I mean, just to Dr. H's point, whatever, if you identify, well, web shell is different. So the web shell assignment, if you want to go something fun, that's fine. But arguably, if you stick to one thing, it will build upon. It's all scaffolded. So if you do something, Tanya, that is something that is near and dear, that's either informational or instructional that you think you can build upon, I would say go for it. As it relates to the rubric, we sort of we're pretty true to thumb. So we're going to go through the rubric, and the things that we expect are in the rubric, right? So I mentioned the notion of alt text because that is typically something, maybe not the first assignment, but often folks are just saying a red shirt or it's a person. But again, when you think about inclusivity, the rationale and the reason why we have alt text in the first place is because we want folks to engage if they're not able to visually see it. So that's why I kind of put that note on there that I actually prefer more detail than otherwise. But I would say yes, if you're able to find something that you can build upon, certainly feel free to do that for this assignment and moving forward. Does that make sense? And does that address your query?
It does. Thank you. I mean, we could just do something that doesn't have to do with our multimedia. We could just do it to satisfy the.
Yeah. For the web, absolutely. And I mean, and folks do that. I mean, that's completely fine.
Just to get a feel for how to work Dreamweaver, right?
Yep, for sure.
And good to see you again, Tanya.
Hey, thank you. Good to see you too. Nice to see you. Thank you for your time. And also, will you have prior videos of this kind of demonstration so we can see like the server working, like how you finished up? I remember that last summer, you got to go through the whole thing. It'd be nice to see that because sometimes I had troubleshooting, I remember, and that's why I was kind of thinking I should see the whole towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll load perhaps at least one additional video that'll have the like the from A to Z, all soup to nuts So for sure.
Yeah, I think there's like a 30-minute one that cuts out a lot of the stuff. So it's really just focusing on the A to Z, like he said. So the only difference would be like instead of fall 2024 as in the URL, it would be summer 20 or spring 2025. So that's going to be as long as you can kind of everything else will be pretty much the same.
Yeah, and it'll be a YouTube, so you can just you'll access the file through YouTube and follow through.
Is that already in our?
Oh,
Sorry.
no, it's probably not there yet. So we like to have kind of the in-person and live sessions first before we
Oh,
release
okay.
the archives. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Dr. LaGuardia, Dreamweaver on campus. Do I need to be in the computer department or computer lab? Can you access anywhere? Rich, let me ask you a question. Can folks remote? So
during COVID, they had it where you could access the library computers remotely, and the library computers had Dreamweaver and Creative Cloud on them or part of it. You can't do that anymore.
Okay,
so that I think it was cost prohibitive. So I think you have to be on campus.
On campus, yeah.
And you definitely have to be on campus to access them. And there's a map of where it is, which computer labs that are accessible have it. I'm not sure where it is.
So Christina, what we'll do, we'll try to access that map and we'll just put it into the discussion, the help section of web courses.
Okay, otherwise I'll just go to the main library on campus. I'll be on campus tomorrow, so I can try it there.
Okay.
If I find out before I see anything posted, I could message.
That would be great.
You all
to share that. That'd be wonderful. Thanks. I know we have a in CCIE, but I don't think Castle Lab has Dreamweaver, which is out of the ed school. So certainly the main library would certainly be the place to start. But if we're able to access a map of sorts, we'll share that.
all right, excellent. I'll be on campus tomorrow morning, so I'll definitely start at the main library then. Thank you.
Classroom Building 1 lab.
There you go.
Has Dreamweaver on it. The Technology Commons 1 and 2 also has those.
So Christina, the closest parking garage would be if you're driving, for at least the Classroom 1 is, I believe, I
park at parking deck H and go to Classroom 2 on Fridays. So I believe that's right next to Classroom Building 1. So that'll be perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Classroom Building 1 is sort of on the other side of the Student Union from the College of Ed building. So you go through the Student Union, you go through the little walkways, the little wooden, the little decking kind of things, and it's right when you get to the kind of big grassy area. Why can't I speak tonight? This is.
I think it's
the cold weather. It's the cold weather. It's the cold weather.
Yeah, the cold weather has you freezing up.
The quad.
Yeah, we'll get
quad. We'll call it the quad. There we go.
Yeah, but we'll get a map and some. We'll try to load something by tonight so you can have something tomorrow.
But all three of those, Classroom Building 1, Tech Commons 1, and Tech Commons 2 have Dreamweaver, according to what is on the UCF site.
Phyllis, what's the difference in the shell and the actual website? The requirements look the same.
So one of the
please. Yep.
The final website, you can't use tables. Tables is bad web design. I just used it as a scaffolding technique. So if you stay with Dreamweaver and go that route, you'll kind of convert it. You'll upgrade your skills to CSS, templates, divs, those kind of things. So the table-based version isn't really appropriate for the final version. So you'll sort of upgrade your website essentially, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I will say that sometimes people forget to convert, and so we'll try to remind folks prior to. But yes, CSS is the way to go. And of course, if you're leveraging Wix or something differently, then you're not going to have the table base anyway. So that's automatic. Good question.
So I'm sorry if this seems elementary, but Dr. Hartshorn, or Dr. Marsh, do we get the 7-day trial, do this, upload it here, and then we can let the trial go if we do it that way and do it within the 7-day period if we're not going to use Dreamweaver as the platform going forward?
Yeah. No love lost. I mean, go for it. 7 days. If you even want to do it for a month. Again, this
there are other ways to upload your site. So if you run out of 7 days, you can still edit it using like SeaMonkey Composer, which is free, and then upload it using a tool called CyberDuck or FTP. There's a bunch of FTP tools, which FTP just stands for File Transfer Protocol, so that's what you use to upload to the server. So there's a bunch of free tools for that. So even if you ran out of the 7-day, or you could start playing, you could still make edits to it using other tools that are free.
Yeah, and we have videos for everything that Dr. H just mentioned. So I'll make sure that those are also listed and posted.
Yeah, they may actually be part of the modules already. They may be in the modules. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I can't recall if it's been released yet.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I try to just hit pause on the release just so we can kind of walk through things first.
Makes sense.
There's actually a video on SeaMonkey that was modeled on the module for this week.
Yep, there you go. Cool. Any other queries?
Will this meeting be available after, like, in the?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the entirety, even with the questions.
Okay.
For sure.
And so when I go to the Zoom and I see upcoming meetings, usually where would you put that, under cloud recordings?
So no, I guess this no, because I actually record in the cloud. So what I'll do, I leverage it or put it in under the bottom of the week. Sorry, I'm thinking of another class, conflating classes. There's a section called archive. So if we were to, and I can share my screen, and I'll show you exactly where it will land. E, are you sharing or is that me?
I don't believe it's me.
Okay. No
one's sharing. No one's sharing.
I don't think it's sharing. Okay, cool. Let me show you where these land. Okay, 1 second here. EME6507. Just swipe this around. Okay. Share here. So across the course, let's load here. Okay, cool. So in modules, and you can see from even week number 1, we have this archive of welcome and course orientation. This goal is going to be framed as archive. So here we're on week number 2. That was last week. Here's week number 3. It will live in this right here. So obviously this is the instructor side, but you see here I have not published this yet. So as soon as I publish it, you'll see here getting started with web authoring part 1. We'll have tonight's archive, and more than likely in an announcement, we'll more than likely have some other things, maybe 2024 from spring or fall 2024, where we actually have the complete process where the server in the very beginning, we link it, we upload files, and then we're able to see it thereafter. So it'll be located right here. I think that was Michelle that asked that question.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Martin, will this be where the other example might be as well?
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th thing. Creating your web shell Dreamweaver YouTube, 33 minutes. That's like
I guess I did keep
great run through. So if you want to go quick and easy instead of rewatching tonight, that walks through everything. Yeah, we just did.
Yeah. And we'll probably even send out, we'll create a video just to kind of point folks to these two resources. And I typically, well, as you know, Tanya, you're in the other class, I kind of release things, you know, a week in advance, but for this one, I kind of forget we kind of list everything. It's already out there, but yeah, SeaMonkey Composer, CyberDuck, and then we have the Creating Your Web Shell and Dreamweaver.
We're going to be hanging out this semester, Dr. Marsh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thursday. You are the
yeah.
man for me this semester. Oh my goodness.
Good thing. All good things. All good things. Promise. Any other thoughts, concerns, considerations? We appreciate y'all sticking around. Stop my share. For those who are still around, how you feeling? You can go off me. There's only a handful of us. How y'all feeling as we are enter week 3 or completing week 3? Feel free to come off, Piper.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just have to dig in.
I think we're learning. We're all learning. We're soaking it in, and we're thinking. I think the wheels are turning with all of us. You know, thinking about what we'd like to start in on. It's exciting.
Exactly.
I love this.
I'm learning. I'm processing it now. This is Portia, by the way, and trying to figure out how I'm going to manage my time. Like, okay, how much time do I really need to set aside just like to lock in on this? Because I know there's going to be a learning curve, especially getting the homepage done and then the flow. So I don't know. I'm just processing right now.
Perfect. I mean, that's perfect. The perfect answer is progression. So, and I mean, that's in every course I teach. I feel like these first couple of weeks, just progress. So keep watching. Obviously, it's curated videos, it's videos from scratch. And then if there's any questions between now and obviously in the next couple of weeks, because I would even say like just play, just play around and come with questions for next week. All right, y'all, be safe.
Bye, everybody.
I'm waiting for y'all to hang it. I'm mid-ear, gonna stick around.
I know. While they go off, Dr. Marsh, this is for the other class. I just want to get one clarification for Tuesday night's class. When you say seminal work, I've got peer-reviewed.
Let me at least stop the record here so folks don't know.